This video is sponsored by Melody. Hey everyone, and welcome to this behind the scenes video today. It's going to be a little bit of a different video to what I usually film. And I thought I'd create it this way because hopefully it will give you a little bit more insight into the day overall and what we were actually doing to achieve the photos that we actually took. So recently I organised a testing day in Sydney with one of my good photographer friends, Georgina. And for those of you who don't know, I love organising shooting days with friends from time to time. I think it's so wonderful to have photographer friends because obviously you can connect on so many levels when it comes to photography, but it really opens up the doors for so much creativity and new ideas. And I feel like that's definitely what happened on this particular shooting day. Georgina actually happened to be one of my coaching students and we ended up becoming really great friends. So this is something that we are starting to do every now and then together, and it is a really nice experience to have when you are shooting with another photographer friend. So we chose to organise 3 separate models on this particular shoot day. So this was basically all test shoots. So this day was a testing day, which meant everyone was doing this for collaboration purposes. And we each had our own mood boards and shot simultaneously. So it was organised chaos, but a lot of fun. We were also in a fairly small space because the studio that we had booked had actually sectioned off part of the studio to what it usually would be. So it was kind of like a smaller space again than what we'd experienced in the past. So we were working with a bit of limited space. We had our lovely makeup artist on the day, Nicole, who I have worked on several shoots before with, several commercial shoots, and she's just incredible, so talented. And our first model for the day was Olga. She was also such a pleasure to work with, just moved so well in front of the camera, and it was really just effortless photographing her. She was so lovely to work with overall. Now you can see from the clothing rack, there's actually quite a number of outfits on there, which is not something that I always organize for beauty shoots, but because Georgina is more into the fashion side of photography, she's definitely more concerned with outfits and making sure that that is a priority for her shoots. So it was really nice to actually work with Georgina on the day, and she's really great with sourcing outfits, and she has a very good eye for what is currently trending, what looks good in a shot, and even really just knows her brands. So it was really wonderful to even learn from her in that regard. I mean, I haven't done a lot of fashion in recent years because my focus and my main focus has been beauty photography, but it was so lovely to kind of learn a few more things from her and even see how she was setting up her fashion shots a little bit more. I really wanted to have a slightly more fashion element in my shoots on this particular day. I was more so doing beauty shots overall, so a lot of the outfits weren't really seen in the images, but I did want to have that kind of peeking through a little bit more, specifically in the collar lines. So I wanted to make sure that whatever outfits I had the girls in really had some sort of detail around the neckline. And I will actually just insert some of the mood boards that I had for this particular shoot, so you can see my original vision for each particular model and then what the actual result was. Now we were both working with a lot of different lighting situations on this particular day. For me, I really liked the natural light that was coming through the big windows, and I actually felt like the natural light was perfect on this day because it was quite diffused as well. So it really gave it that kind of moody effect, and just I really enjoyed shooting in that kind of natural light. I don't always tend to shoot in that kind of very soft, diffused natural light, but today I really wanted to, and I felt that it really complemented especially Olga's features. I thought she looked absolutely beautiful in this particular lighting, and I really wanted to get these kind of ethereal looking shots of her, very much more editorial style than necessarily commercial, because I really wanted to get very creative with these shoots on this particular day. I was feeling very creatively stifled up until this particular point for even a couple of years, I would say. I think a lot of my shoots were really focusing around commercial beauty photography, and I think after a while those kinds of shoots can kind of get a little bit boring sometimes, especially when you don't always have the final say on how things should look and the planning process overall. A lot of the time that is done by your client. So I was finding that a lot of the shoots that I was producing, although they were fine and I was happy with the shots that I was getting, I felt like they weren't truly my own shots. So this is why testing every now and then is important for your portfolio, to really update with things that you want to shoot as well, and making sure that you're really getting creative too. And so by creative, I really wanted to try a few different things on this particular day. So one of the first things that I absolutely wanted to try was doing a bit of a double exposure effect with the images for Olga. That was kind of the mood board that I had created. That was kind of the vibe I was looking for. I just wanted to get into that really editorial style look, and maybe with some vibrant colors kind of popping through, and then also layering a kind of texture or other image on top of the photo to give it that double exposure effect. So you might be able to see in these videos, I'm actually photographing some flowers that Georgina's husband kindly went and got while we were shooting. And I'm actually photographing the flowers on the floor of the studio. And I thought the floor of the studio had this amazing texture to it. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, that is gonna look really cool overlaid on top of the images of Olga. And that was kind of the double exposure effect that I wanted to go for. So I then laid the flowers on the floor, on top of the textured floor, and photographed them like that. And it's safe to say in the post-processing phase, I was so happy with how this turned out. And I was really thinking I'd kind of nailed that vibe that I had on the mood board for what I really wanted with this kind of style of imagery. So I was really happy that I did photograph them on the floor, because I really think that made such a difference with the texture and just kind of gave it that really different effect. Now with the outfit for Olga's creative look, I actually found this outfit the day beforehand at a consignment store, and it's basically a little bit more of a high-end thrift shop, and I found this outfit there and I was like, yes, I need to use it. I don't know how. I know that it's vibrant and it's colorful, and that's kind of the mood board that I have for Olga, so that was how I wanted to use the outfit, and I'm so glad that I got it because I feel like it was just so interesting and so different. And I believe this actually may be made in Paris. I don't know a lot of information about the brand, but it was a really cool find and I'm so glad we got to use it. And now let's take a break for a quick word from today's video sponsor, Melody. If you're a photographer, videographer, or content creator, chances are you've often needed to secure copyright safe music for a client or project. And you can find some of the best copyright safe music with Melody. Melody is an online music library offering a high quality tech enabled licensing solution for creators. Being a photographer and content creator means there's often times where I need great high quality music, like for the behind the scenes video you're watching right now. Finding music on Melody is easy. First, I decide on the genre or style of music I want to include in the video. For this behind the scenes video, I'd love a lo-fi beat that's not too overpowering and without vocals, especially because I'm doing a voiceover. On Melody, I can easily go in and filter out any lo-fi tracks with vocals. I can then either sort by genre or navigate to collections, where I can find songs that have been grouped together in playlists and easily find what I'm looking for. Then it's simply a matter of downloading the track and adding it into my video editing software. If you'd like to check out Melody for yourself, click the link in the description box below and use the code MELODY60 for 60% off your first year of Melody Creator and Pro annual plans. Thanks again to Melody for sponsoring this video. Now, our second model was Eloise, and Ellie was such a pleasure to photograph on the day. She's so young and she's so vibrant, and she was just willing to do anything in terms of posing and, you know, being a little bit more out there. It was great. I really enjoyed photographing her and the kind of idea that I'd had for her creatively. And you'll notice just before I go any further, actually on a lot of the mood boards, I have a very natural style of image, and then I have a more creative vision on the right-hand side more so. So this is to make sure that each of the models has something kind of natural that they can use as a beauty shot in their portfolio, but also just going a bit more creative and a bit more bolder kind of works for me too. So it's kind of like everyone gets something out of the shoot, making sure that modeling agencies can use them as well. You never know what those kinds of shots can come in handy for, but it's always good to provide them as well to the models. But for Eloise, I kind of had a little bit of a different effect that I wanted to go for with the creative photos for her. And I wanted to try out some different lighting situations. So for her, I actually did some pre-planning for this and went shopping at H&M a few days prior. And I actually bought this iridescent phone case. And I kind of tested it out with my phone camera to see whether it was making a difference, like with bouncing the light off the phone case onto, I think it was my partner's face or my face, and he was testing with me in store to see if it worked, and it did. So I actually bought it and then used it on this particular shoot day to kind of get some interesting effects. Now, I'm actually not sure if we've got any behind the scenes footage of this, but I will insert some photos of how it all looks. And I loved playing around with light that way. I just thought it was so cool. I tried to make it like it was kind of like makeup on the model's face, the light that was sort of bouncing off the phone case. So I just really enjoyed doing something a little bit different like that. It kind of takes me back to my really early days of photography where you would try so many different things as like a teenager doing photography. You would just try everything and anything. And I really enjoyed that experience, just being a little bit more creative. And then the rest of the shots with Ellie were just kind of like very simple, kind of beachy shots. I used some hard light. So if you haven't seen the video on my channel before where I've talked about hard light setup, I will link that in the description box below. But I love using this setup for a bit more of like hard sunlight, kind of replicating that effect. And it really suited her features. She just looks so glowy and really love those. I think they'll definitely be going a little bit more into my commercial beauty portfolio, but really loved taking those shots. I thought the light was really, really beautiful. And then for our third model, Sylvia, I really had a distinct look that I really wanted to do with the mood board. And I wanted to do something a little bit more creative, but really soft and feminine and beautiful. There was actually a top that Georgina had used in one of her images like ages ago. And as soon as I saw the top, I said to her, oh my God, I love it so much. I would die to use that in a photo shoot. And then she was like, well, do you want me to bring it along to the next shoot that we do? And you can use it. And I was like, absolutely. So we actually used this particular top with Olga, but also with Sylvia. So Olga's first few kind of natural beauty sort of shots were used with this and some pearl earrings. It was a really cute look, but I wanted to use it with Sylvia in the way that it was supposed to be kind of like tied up in a bow. So it kind of gave that decoration to the neckline. And I really loved how these images came out. The makeup and hairstyle Nicole stuck some flowers in her hair and it just gave a totally different look to the image. Again, it was just a little bit more over the top creative. I really loved how it turned out. But then we also took some without the flowers as well, and Sylvia was just such a great sport. She was also so lovely to photograph, and I think she was just so on board with the looks too. It's always great when you have a model that's just really on board with what you're doing and they want to get the best shots possible too. It's such a great working partnership that way. And so you can also see the video here of Georgina shooting behind the scenes, some of her looks, and I think it's so great. Some of the stuff that she did on the day was amazing. Definitely the look where she had Olga in this beautiful, like transparent almost dress. Like it was so stunning. One of my favorite looks from the day for sure. So for pretty much all the images on the day, I was using my 100mm f2.8 lens from Canon, the L series lens. And as I said, I was mainly focusing on beauty images, so quite up close. Again, my lighting on this day was all over the place. I was just really in experimentation mode and I wanted to use a bit of natural light, use some polyboards, both black and white, to see how we could kind of get some amazing shadows and depth to the images. I really enjoyed using a black polyboard actually with Olga on a few shots because I felt like it really does give that depth to the side of the face, especially where you're getting that really nice shadow. And for Olga on some of these shots, I was just using my Octabox, which I love using with just one layer of diffusion. But that was essentially the photo shoot day. So there was so much going on all day. It was a full day shoot and Georgina and I were both shooting nearly all of the time. It was crazy chaotic, but such a good day. And if you ever get these opportunities to experiment and be creative, I think it's a great way to really re-energize yourself if you're feeling a little bit stuck with your work and you need to kind of try some new things. I always recommend photographing test shoots like this. But thank you so much for watching this video today, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, make sure you do because I'll be posting a lot more videos like this one in future. Let me know down in the comment section below if you like photographing photo shoots with your photography friends, and if you've done this before, let me know what your experiences have been like because I would love to hear. And just a quick reminder, if you are interested in checking out Melody, make sure to click the link in the description box below and use my code for 60% off. But thank you so much as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.